There is a constant, eternal, forever excellence to ACC basketball. Then, now, always. There was a time when gods and titans dominated ACC basketball. There was a time when the game was played as it was designed, with speed, passion, and skill. There was a day when one could travel along the Atlantic coast, from the harbors of Boston to the shores of Miami, and hear stories of great victories and triumph, of remarkable men who held court with raw talents, changed the game, marked new ground. There was a time when ACC basketball, at its core, held the heartbeat of those that love and know the game. Sit quietly and listen as fans speak of mighty coaches who stalked the sideline, intense men named Kremens, Smith, Drizel, and Krzyzewski, or Case, men who shaped and spurred their warriors to greater heights, teachers of values and beliefs, makers of men. Coaches who demanded commitment, loyalty, and dedication to team, to the name on the front of the jersey. Men who never gave in, never gave up. Men who stared down defeat until the clock struck zero and the final horn sounded. Watch the old films and great players come to life once more. Gods and titans. Power forwards dominate the glass. Awe-inspiring centers soar with purpose. Sharp-shooting guards with a sniper's mentality. Magnificent athletes, all with a common purpose: to score, to win. Courageous and exceptional, yes. Gods and titans. Listen in quiet, empty arenas, sacred buildings that bear the name of distinguished men: Cameron, Castle, Littlejohn. And one bears witness to greatness racing up and down between the lines. Grizzled faces, eyes shining brightly. Compare athletes of old with fresh-faced freshmen. Filled arenas, rafters overflowing, the cacophony of sound and sight. Bands and cheerleaders, coaches leap to their feet to exhort. Raw, unbridled emotion, every moment a battle. Victory or death, there is nothing, nothing in between. Ah, glory and glorious. There was a time when the brisk winds of March arrived and the intensity of the regular season ratcheted upward a notch or two or more. With the bitter cold comes the tourney, win or go home. The sting of defeat now reverberates deeply into the very soul of the athlete. 4 days of sudden death. 12 schools arrive, all with the same hope, but only one lifts the trophy, cuts down the net, is recognized as champion, ACC champion. Forever honored, forever remembered, forever. Gods and titans. There was a time, and that time is now, as it was then, and as it will be. For this is the Atlantic Coast Conference. Tested under fire, battle-honored trial and tribulation, molten lead hammered into hardened steel. Leaders, winners. For 60 years, ACC players, coaches, and teams have dominated the national scene. 12 national championships, countless All-Americans, 16 Naismith Players of the Year. Yes, this is our moment. Atlantic Coast Conference basketball. Its very name thunders across the sky, echoes through the mountains, resonates deep in our heart. There was a time, then, now, always. Born along a dusty tobacco road, today the ACC stands proudly at the top of the mountain, its legacy cresting along the entire Atlantic coast. Valiant, singular, exceptional. Gods and titans. Yes, gods and titans. Today we welcome 12 of the greatest athletes to ever play the game. Each of these men brought honor and distinction to their institution. Each embodies the values we cherish: leadership, commitment, excellence, and dedication. It is a distinct honor and privilege to present this year's Atlantic Coast Conference Legends Class of 2012.
This brunch and this Legends is part of what is happening in Greensboro at the ACC headquarters, and heading up that group, of course, is the Commissioner of the Atlantic Coast Conference, John Swofford, and we'd like to bring him up now. Commissioner?
Mike, thank you very much. First of all, welcome to the 2012 ACC Legends Brunch. What a wonderful job you have done. Now, on to the special event that we're a part of today. And this really is, and some of you are here each and every year, this really is one of the truly special events in the Atlantic Coast Conference year. It highlights the truly unbelievable history and tradition that is Atlantic Coast Conference basketball. And the legends that you will meet momentarily actually personify the Atlantic Coast Conference basketball, its history and tradition, what it has been, what it is today, and what it will be as we move forward in the future. And we're all very fortunate, I think, to have two of the best ambassadors that I know for the Atlantic Coast Conference to host this brunch and to help us honor a great group of legends. And that's Tim Brandt and Mike Hogwood. Gentlemen, thank you for all that you do throughout the year for the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much.
And while thanking the entire room for being here with us to help us honor this year's class of legends, and it is a special class, as each of them are, I'll now turn it over to Tim and Mike to meet the legends.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I just real quick want to tell you, like many of you in this room, I grew up a fan, didn't play in the ACC. My partner here, Tim Brandt, was a great linebacker at the University of Maryland. He'll be calling the first game today, the first semifinal game. So we're ready to get going on this exciting day, and let's right now meet our first legend.
Our first ACC legend is a 1982 second-team NABC All-America who was one of the best playmaking point guards to roam the hardwood at Boston College. A two-time Big East selection for then head coach Dr. Tom Davis, he helped lead the Eagles to a four-year record of 64 wins and only 27 losses. The first Eagle to earn Big East Player of the Year honors after leading BC to the 1981 Big East title. He led the Eagles in scoring each of his 3 seasons in Chestnut Hill, averaging 18 points a game for his career. He led Boston College to an NIT appearance in 1980, to the NCAA's Sweet 16 round in 1981, and to the NCAA's Elite 8 as a junior in 1982. He left school after his junior year and was the 12th overall pick of the 1982 NBA draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers. He enjoyed an 11-year career in the NBA with the Cavaliers, the New Jersey Nets, the Boston Celtics, and Atlanta Hawks. He currently resides in Stratford, Connecticut, and is working to reintroduce athletics into the middle school system of his hometown of Bridgeport, Connecticut. Please welcome Boston College's John Bagley.
Come on down here, John.
Yeah, John, come on. We call this the hot seat over here. So, John, grab a microphone and...
Congratulations, boy.
Good to see you.
This is yours.
And there you go.
Have a seat right here. First thing I want to know, partners, tell us about Dr. Tom Davis. He was a legend up and down the East Coast. Certainly at Maryland we knew of him. Gary Williams looked up to him. What was he like to play for?
My time with Tom Davis, of course, coming into school as a young man, you always look to see someone that helps guide you through everything. And Tom was one of those kind of guys that was really concerned with you, your well-being and your time there at BC. So he kind of set the stage and set the course for everything that went on over there.
Dr. Tom.
You know,
Yes.
one of the cool things is we get to meet all the legends before we have this brunch. You found one of your old teammates from the World Games that won a gold medal is also a legend here.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was coincidentally, me and Dale Solomon played together in '81 in the World Games over in Bucharest, Romania, where we won a gold medal, beat the Russians for the gold medal. So I haven't seen him since then, so it was just such a great moment to see him.
You should have seen the shock on both of those faces, like, oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
It's
It's been a long time, but I respect Dale very much, and it was good seeing him.
John, what was your recruiting process like before you went up there to school? I mean, were you heavily recruited? Were you not heavily? How did that go?
I was pretty heavily recruited. I think what happened with me is that my junior year, I seen Boston College. They came in to see a teammate of mine, Mike McKay. And when I seen that they came in, I kind of got interested about what was transpiring in before me. So I was trying to position myself so that I could be seen and have somebody come back and see me. And coincidentally, they came back in my senior year. And I went to visit a couple of schools, and I think one of the first schools I went to visit was East Carolina. I went there and I started playing. I played a little ball with some of the guys there, sprained my ankle, and decided that was it.
That's not the place.
No, well, I mean, that was the end of my visiting. I decided at that point to go to Boston College.
You, of course, played in the Big East. What do you think about BC and the ACC right now?
I think it's exciting. I'm very excited for BC, and I think there's big things on the horizon and a great opportunity to play in a league like the ACC.
Well, congratulations to you. Welcome to the Legends, because you are a legend.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's meet our next legend.
Our next legend is one of the most dominating big men to wear the orange and white, playing for the Clemson teams of Coach Cliff Ellis in the early 1990s. A feared shot blocker, he still ranks 5th on the ACC career list for blocked shots per game, leading the league in rejections in 1992 and 1993. He currently ranks 6th on the Clemson career list for rebounds and 4th in rebounds per game. Named a freshman All-America in 1992 by Basketball Weekly, he was a 3rd-team All-ACC selection in 1993 and earned 2nd-team honors in 1994. Also in 1994, he was named an honorable mention All-America by the Associated Press and was one of 20 nominees for the prestigious James Naismith Player of the Year Award. The first Clemson basketball player to declare early for the NBA, he was the 6th overall pick in the first round of the 1994 draft. Named to the 1994-95 NBA All-Rookie team, he played 5 seasons with Philadelphia and Toronto. Originally a native of Macon, Georgia, he currently resides in Rancho Cucamonga, California. Please welcome Clemson's Sharon Wright.
Come on over here, big
Brown,
fella.
you over here, middle seat.
They want you that middle seat.
Hey, good to see you.
How are you?
Have a seat.
Here you go.
Some great days in Clemson basketball when you played there in the mid-'90s. Of course, there was a coach by the name of Cliff Ellis who, in between coaching jobs, actually worked with us for a while. Tell us a little bit about Cliff Ellis, who really did great things for Clemson basketball.
Coach did a lot for me personally, but coming from South Alabama, I think it was, he just revitalized the Clemson program. And once I got there, we had already had 4 or 5 top 5 players, especially from my position. So it was like a revolving door with NBA big guys, guys that I played against in the summer. And Cliff always made sure that I was doing well in school and mentally and personally as well. So he was just a great guy. And even to this day, right now, he'll call me. And any of you guys know Cliff, you know he has 4 or 5 albums out, and he'll play the music. And
Did he ever sing in the locker room?
only when we won big games, like if we beat Carolina, which never happened, by the way.
So he sang the blues.
Yeah, so I mean, he was always happy when we could win big games. He always made sure that we never got down. He's a real personable coach, and even to this day in my life personally, he's great.
Is there one memory that jumps out at you while you were at Clemson? Anything that you carry with you all the time?
We were in the Rainbow Classic I think, in Maui. And I always had expectations on myself and being a high school All-American, McDonald's All-American, coming in. And our SID he's here today, who's one of my best friends, Tim Beret.
Timmy Beret.
The best SID ever in the country.
There you
Tim
go.
Beret. And so Cliff challenged me every game, and we played against a very good Oklahoma State team. And I was sort of under the radar as far as one of the better power forwards and centers in the nation. I think I was lower. So every game, Tim always challenged me. Well, you know, Big Country Reeds is, you know, he's up there. You got to, you know. We would be in his room or his office, and so I had to hear it in Tim's office, and then I would go to Cliff before the game. And, you know, Cliff has that southern drawl, and he'd go, well, you know, that guy there, he's better. And so in the game, I'd always feel like I had to be better than most guys, and Cliff was just pushing all the time, and he always wanted to see me do better. As with everybody in the Clemson family, we are a family, and he always wanted the best for me.
Sharon, this was a great time in ACC basketball, great players. I'm working with Corey Alexander this week, former Virginia guard, who's the co-host of the tournament with me, but you got Rent. He's telling me he looked at the list of legends and said, I played against this guy, I played against that guy. What a great time. Are there any stories against any of the legends you played against?
Well, I'm going to speak on Corey real quick. Corey, if you're here, find me, because I'm going to talk to you.
Yeah.
But I played against Todd Fuller, Johnny Rose. Those guys were great players. Malcolm Mackey was kind of a role model for me coming in. Almost went to Georgia Tech too, so you Tech people. But the biggest adversary, I would say, and the Carolina and Duke people know this, is Randolph Childress, because he would, you know, he'd go through the first quarter, he'd have about 5 points, and then he'd run off like 25 on you in a row, and I would try to foul him real hard, and he'd go, come on, big fella, you know. So, but Randolph was a spectacular player, and all of us in our own right. But that's what I remember.
Yeah. All of those guys are legends. It's great to have them here today. Sharon, it's great to have you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on being our legend. Let's meet now our next legend. Congratulations to Sharon.
A versatile 6'7" forward who was effective inside or outside for the Duke teams of the late 1970s and early 80s is our next honoree. He helped lead Duke to the 1978 NCAA title game and to ACC championships in 1978 and 1980. During his 4 seasons in Durham, the Blue Devils compiled an impressive 90-33 record that included 3 NCAA tournament appearances and 1 NIT berth. Named second-team ACC All-Tournament in 1978 as a freshman, he played 3 seasons for Bill Foster and 1 for Mike Krzyzewski for the Blue Devils, and was named team captain in his senior season for Coach K. One of just 7 Duke players who have totaled over 1,000 points, 650 rebounds, and 200 assists in his career. Selected in the 4th round of the 1981 NBA draft by Kansas City, he played 3 seasons in the NBA for Kansas City and Denver. A native of King, North Carolina, he is the managing partner at Denard, Rupp, Gray, and Lasker, an investor relations firm based in Houston, Texas. A 30-year cancer survivor, this coming September, he has served on the Coaches vs. Cancer National Council since 1998. Please welcome Duke's Kenny Denard.
Dookies they're in the house. There's no doubt about it.
Kenny's house.
Yeah.
Come on over here, Kenny.
I don't think we need to ask him any
Kenny's
questions. We just
enjoying
let him
the
sit here
moment.
and talk. Really?
Congratulations, big guy. Sit down here.
Kenny, congratulations on being a legend.
Weight limit on this chair.
Weight limit? Well, we don't know, but we're in trouble. You should have seen this whole group. We were coming up in
Hey,
one
Tim.
elevator, all those big
Tim,
guys.
give him the mic.
Why? I'm not used to sharing.
I know, Gina had told me.
All right, here we go. Coach K coming in, young coach from Army. What'd you think?
Didn't know what to think, really, until we got there. Gene and I and Jim Sudduth, who's here, another teammate of that year, we just went with the flow, and so did Coach K. After the success we had the first 3 years that Suds and Gene and I were there, we didn't know what to expect, and neither did he. So I think we did pretty good, 17 and 13. Y'all talking about what the legends of your era, the 81 season, if you look back at all the great teams the ACC had, you go down the roster, they're all household names. I mean, from Clemson's Larry Nance to Lee Raker and Jeff Lamp to Buck Williams and Albert King, Al Wood, and name all those Carolina guys. Doug, you know those Carolina guys, right?
Yeah.
So no, but I mean, that year was a great year for ACC basketball, and we were pretty lucky we beat Carolina, and we had a pretty good season. You know, a lot of people think it's supposed to be, the Final Four all the time now, but back then, it was, we're just lucky to be there that one year that we went, in the freshman year.
It means something to you to beat Carolina.
Well, people do know a lot of stats now that all this stuff's happening. Gene and I and Suds played Carolina 14 times in our career. Do the math. That was back with the Big Four tournament.
Absolutely.
So we play them 3 times 1 year, 4, 4, and 3. That's a lot of times.
Kenny, you married your high school sweetheart. You've got a son. Tell everybody what you're doing today.
Well, they're right over there, and thank goodness that they're in my life. But I've been working with my partner there, Steve Gray, who's a former teammate, and we do investor relations. So if anybody has a public company and need help, call me.
Hey, speaking of teammates, the man who's going to be working with Tim Brandt today, Mike Jaminski, part of our crew, he was a part of your team for 3 years. Any G-Man stories we can hit up?
Yeah, well, we used to call G-Man the black hole, because you throw the ball in, you'll never see it again. Literally, his next assist will be his first. Is that good?
That's good. Okay, that's good. That's great.
Let me tell you, it hadn't changed. I thought he played football because every time I talk, he gives me the Heisman.
Yeah. Well, just stay on whichever side of the head you need to be on.
Yeah, right.
Kenny, great to have you
Thanks
with
a
us
lot.
today.
Kenny, congratulations.
Kenny Denard of Duke.
Way to go, big guy. That is awesome. I need that mic back. Let's meet our next legend.
Our next legend was a high-scoring wing guard for the Florida State teams of Coach Pat Kennedy in the mid-1990s. A 3-time All-ACC honoree, he was named third-team All-ACC in 1995 and 1996, and garnered second-team honors as a senior in 1997. That year, he led Florida State to a 20-12 record and to the finals of the National Invitation Tournament. He completed his career as the third leading scorer in school history with 1,793 points and still ranks in the FSU all-time top 10 for field goals, three-point field goals, and three-point field goal percentage. He was drafted as the 37th overall pick by the Philadelphia 76ers in the second round of the 1997 NBA draft and played 1 season in the NBA with the Los Angeles Clippers. He also played 1 year in the Continental Basketball Association before playing 9 seasons professionally in Europe. He is currently the head basketball coach at his high school alma mater, Andrew Jackson High School in Jacksonville, Florida. Please welcome Florida State's James Collins.
Come on over, James.
Congratulations. Way to
Have
go.
a seat.
Playing for Pat Kennedy, what was that like?
It was a wonderful experience. Pat really showed us a lot of things. Not only was Pat a dynamic coach, he was one of those coaches that you could sleep at his house if you need be. Pat just cared about his players so much. He put the players above himself.
Fun guy, though. Practice had to be fun. It had to be fun to be on that team.
Oh, yes. Every day in practice was an adventure with Pat because he would make all these funny gestures during his coaching when he gets mad at you.
Hey, James, the boss in the back is telling me to tell you to hold that microphone up because I'm not going to tell you that, but somebody's telling me to hold it up. Let me ask you this. You guys were new in the ACC. You'd only been in a couple years when you were playing. What did you think when you found out or you guys were in the ACC and obviously a different level of basketball?
Yeah, we were originally in the Metro Conference, and they had those 2 great years where they finished second or third in the league for 2 years in a row in those first 2 years. And I was coming in, so I was very excited. They'd been to the Elite Eight 2 straight years, and So I thought I would be a part of a wonderful team, but we never made it to the NCAA while I was there.
Let me ask you this. Guys that play, they come from the cities, they're here, grow up on the playgrounds. You went over and played in Europe for 9 years. What was that like playing in the European League?
Well, what people don't know is it's a wonderful thing, but it's really a grind. It's nothing like the States, you know. You don't fly on these Lear jets where you just you and the team, and you come back the same night after the game. You know, you're riding on buses, you're practicing 2 or 3 times a day. You may get your money, you may not. I mean, it's a struggle.
Look, you're a coach now. What made you want to be a coach, and you're back coaching where you played in high school?
Well, when I stopped, I had been looking at my high school for years, and it's kind of gotten down. The play level's gotten down. The community's down. So I wanted to try to get in it to help the kids, and because right now a lot of the kids are hurting. They don't. At my school, we're one of the intervene schools. What that means is you're a low-level academic school. You're at the lowest of academics, and I'm trying to come in and change the culture because a lot of kids don't have any goals to even get out of the community.
Well, congratulations on that, and congratulations on being a legend here.
Congratulations, James.
James, thanks.
Way to go.
Let's meet our next legend.
The only Georgia Tech player to have started for 2 ACC championship teams is our next honoree. A low post force who is still Tech's leading career rebounder with 1,205 boards. He also had 199 career blocked shots. He still ranks 11th on the ACC's career list for rebounding and 26th for blocked shots. During his 4 years on the flats, he led Tech to an overall 87-43 record, which included 4 NCAA tournament appearances and 1 berth in the NCAA Final Four. He earned third-team All-ACC honors in 1992 and second-team accolades in 1993. That year, he was also named an honorable mention All-America by UPI and a second-team All-District choice by the NABC. Twice named to the ACC All-Tournament team, he was the 27th overall pick in the first round of the 1993 NBA Draft by Phoenix. He played just 1 season in the NBA, but went on to play 11 more professionally in the CBA and overseas. A native of Chattanooga, Tennessee, he is currently the Internet Sales Manager at Hennessy GMC Buick and resides in McDonough, Georgia. Please welcome Georgia Tech's Malcolm Mackey.
Come on over, Malcolm. Good to see you.
You too.
Here's your microphone.
Thank you.
One of Bobby's boys.
Oh, yes.
Tell us about life with Coach Crimmins on the flats.
Well, you know, Bobby had a nice personality. He had that New York swagger, and you know, he had a personality where he seemed very genuine. You know, it's not easy to please my mother and father, and when he came in, walked in the room and got to talking to them, and he won them over quite easily.
You know, Bobby was one of those guys, too. He was, as you said, he had the swagger. Very competitive guy. He's so nice, everybody forgets how competitive he is. What great stories do you have on that regard?
Yeah, I mean, no matter what it was, if it was, you know, playing pool, I mean, it didn't matter. He wanted to win everything. You know, you see that white hair going all over the place, and his passion and love for the game, you know, really rubbed off on all of us. You know, when you see your coach, he's behind you, so, you know, all the time, whether you're up, down. And just being able to look over there and see that support for that, all that hair going all over the place, you know, you felt good. You wanted to go out there and do your thing.
You know, you heard what James said about playing over in Europe. You played overseas. What was that like for you after Bobby Crimmins?
Well, he said it perfectly. You know, it's a grind. You're a free agent every year. You make good money there, but you know, it's a grind. You're a free agent every year, so that's what makes it tough. So each year you have to prove yourself all over again. So you're only as good as your last game. So, you know, going over there, like you said, you know, you a lot of long bus rides and, you know, cramped flights. And but it's a career. I mean, you know, I tell young people all the time when you know, they want to play professional basketball, and they don't know how tough it is. I think me and Sharon was talking, and he mentioned, you know, one of the big guys that we played against, you know, back in the days, and how he had in one-on-one. His workout in the NBA was a one-on-one in a hot box, just pounding each other, fouling each other, and everybody's trying to get that contract. And those are the kind of things that you have to do when you're playing in Europe. It's a grind.
Malcolm, those were some great teams you played on. Remind us who some of your teammates were, and is there any one game that really stands out to you?
Well, I mean, it's so many. I was blessed to have won this ACC tournament twice, and you know, both times were just, you know, it's magnificent. You know, I just always thought that I was part of something that would continue on like that, and I realize now, you know, looking back 20 years now, you know, we haven't won it again, and it's like now you understand how special it is to go out there and to compete at this level. This is the best basketball conference in the world, and in America, and you know, the guys that you're able to go out there and see play each and every day are going to be household names. They're going to be in the NBA or whether they're in Europe or whatever. It's an outstanding conference, and to just be a part of it. So I had so many wins, whether it was the NCAA tournament, James Forrest hitting a winning shot to take us to the Sweet 16, whether it was Kenny Anderson hitting a shot to tie the game, another, you know, tie the game to keep us in the fight for the Elite Eight. It was just so many. I was blessed to play with some very great players and coaches, and it was just, all of it was good.
Well, Malcolm, congratulations. You're an ACC legend.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Malcolm.
Let's meet our next legend.
There you go.
Thanks.
Our next legend is one of the most versatile players to play for the Maryland Terrapins, and he is still the ACC's all-time leader in steals. The only player in league history to record totals of over 1,700 points, with 700 rebounds, 400 assists, and 300 steals. He helped lead the Terrapins of Coach Gary Williams back to national prominence in the mid-1990s. In his 4 seasons, Maryland posted an overall 73-49 record, which included 3 straight appearances in the NCAA tournament from 1994 through 1996. Named to the ACC's all-freshman team in 1993, he earned third-team All-ACC honors in 1995 and second-team accolades in 1996. He still holds ACC career records for steals with 344, steals per game, and steals per game for a single season. His total of 704 rebounds is the 3rd best career mark for an ACC guard. A native of Washington, D.C., he currently owns his own construction company and is working towards establishing his own charitable foundation. Please welcome Maryland's Johnny Rhodes.
Come on down, Johnny.
Johnny, congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
Have a
There you
seat.
go. Here you go.
You know, Johnny, most basketball players are judged by their offensive skills. We talk about how many points a game they averaged. You were a great defensive player. That was your claim to fame. What made you want to be such focus on defense?
I believe that was the only way that we had an opportunity to win. We had to go out and stop our opponents. You know, that was the key to us winning, was to play good defense.
You know, Johnny, Malcolm talked about it, the camaraderie here, and not only of your own teammates, but of throughout the ACC, which we saw with you guys in the room prior to the banquet. And I was wondering about when Maryland honored you just over a week ago, and Gary Williams came back to present you to that crowd. What was it like to keep that relationship with Gary, to play with Gary?
It was awesome to have Coach Williams come back. We're really close friends right now today. You know, he was a guy that not only was he a great coach, but he's a great friend. And for him to come back and be a part of an honor for me at the University of Maryland, it meant so much to me in the university.
Do you have any one memory of a game or two that really stands out in your mind?
Well, like Mackie said, you know, there's so many games. I would think that a game that stood out was us being in the NCAA tournament, and we were a lower seed in the NCAA, and we beat UMass. and that gave us an opportunity to move forward and go to the Sweet 16. So that was a really a great moment for us in the university.
Look at you, a guy that would tear down offenses with your defense, and now you're building things up with your own construction company. How'd you get into that?
Well, you know, it's a transition, and like most of these guys up on the panel, you know, it's an adjustment after playing basketball all your life, and then, you know, having to adjust to, you know, the next phase of your life. And you know, it was good for me. I bought a property, and I saw how, you know, the structure and everything was going, and I was like, you know what, I think this might be it. It was the sound of the drills and the tools and everything. So, you know, I just found my new passion, and that's what it is.
Johnny, it's great to have you here. Congratulations
Thank you
on
so
being
much.
an ACC
and I
legend.
appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Johnny Rhodes from Maryland.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Let's meet our next legend now.
One of the most talented forwards to grace the hardwood for the Miami Hurricanes is our next ACC legend. An honorable mention All-America as a senior in 1961, he completed his career ranked in the top 10 in 7 career categories for Miami, including 7th in points, 7th in field goals made, 6th in free throws made, and 7th in rebounds. His 22 free throws against Oklahoma City in 1960 is still tied with the legendary Rick Barry for the most in a single game in UM history. In his 3-year career, he averaged 17.5 points per game and helped lead the Hurricanes to their first ever appearance in the NCAA Tournament in 1960 and to an appearance in the NIT in 1961. He led Miami to an overall 61-18 record during his 3 seasons in Coral Gables, including a 23-4 mark in 1960 and a 20-7 record in 1961. Later, he served as head coach for the Hurricanes from 1967 to 1970 and was inducted into the Miami Sports Hall of Fame in 1988. A native of Martins Ferry, Ohio, he now resides in Coral Springs, Florida. Please welcome Miami's Ron Godfrey.
That's some kind of music for Ron to come
Yeah,
to.
it is. We're going to have him boogie on over to the hot seat.
We're playing music right from your era there, Ron. It's good.
Yeah,
Have a
baby.
seat.
Come on, Ron.
20s?
Yeah. Now, I was going to ask you about your recruiting, but coming from Martins Ferry, Ohio, and all that snow, I guess it was an easy decision to go to Coral Gables, Florida.
Best decision, second best decision in my life.
And you stayed in Florida.
I stayed in Florida. Yeah, we still live there.
You, of course, played, and we saw you coached at Miami. Today, Miami has a gorgeous arena on campus, and things are really starting to roll. Jim Larinaga in basketball. What was Miami basketball like back when you played and then when you coached?
Well, when we played, we didn't have a coliseum or a gym on campus. And they had an armory, and we played in the armory. We practiced in the armory, and then our first year, I was a freshman then, but we were playing in a high school at that time, high school gym. And then when I was a sophomore, we moved to play in the auditorium in Miami Beach. And so unfortunately, all the students from Coral Gables had to get to Miami Beach to see us play.
Ron, have you stayed connected with the university from the days you left and with your teammates and so on and so forth?
Yes. You know, every year we have a reunion, and a lot of the guys come back for the reunion, and we still get to see a lot of the guys. A couple of the guys are here tonight watching me. So
When you heard that Miami was going into the Atlantic Coast Conference, what did you think?
I thought that was probably the greatest thing that happened in Miami, because we are now in the best conference in the United States.
Without a
Amen
doubt.
to that.
Yeah.
That's
Without
worth
a
a round of applause. When you go to Miami basketball games today and you see that beautiful arena and all the facilities there, it has to make you proud.
Proud and envy.
Yeah.
But yes, we go down and watch the games, and still today, after, I hate to say this, 50 years, I still get the goosebumps just stepping onto that campus. It was great then, and it's greater now.
Well, you're well deserving of the status of legend.
As the
University
video
of
said,
Miami.
you've reached the mountaintop
Yes,
of the
you
Atlantic
have.
Coast Conference.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Yeah. Let's meet our next legend.
One of the top point guards in North Carolina basketball history, our next legend ended his career in 1987 ranked second in the ACC record book in assists with 768 handouts. That total still ranks ninth on the ACC career list. Coached by the legendary Dean Smith, he helped guide the Tar Heels to a 4-year record of 115 wins with only 19 losses. That included 4 straight NCAA tournament appearances, reaching the NCAA's Elite Eight in both 1985 and 1987. Named the 1987 National Player of the Year by Basketball Times, he was also a consensus first-team All-America that year. He also earned All-ACC honors 3 times, including first-team honors as a senior. The 6th overall pick in the 1987 draft by the Sacramento Kings, he went on to play 11 seasons in the NBA with Sacramento, Atlanta, Houston, Detroit, Orlando, and Denver. A member of the 1988 NBA All-Rookie team, he started for NBA championship teams in 1995 and 1996 while with the Houston Rockets. In 1998, he joined Turner Sports and has since served as a basketball analyst for both the NBA and for the NCAA basketball tournament. A native of Queens, New York, he now resides in Atlanta, Georgia. Please welcome North Carolina's Kenny Smith.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Kenny, come on over. Good to see you.
Kenny, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Here you go.
Kenny, my first question, what made a guy from Queens want to come down to Chapel Hill and play basketball?
Well, first of all, I live in Los Angeles, and in Turner Sports, I work so much they probably say I live in Atlanta.
Yeah.
They got me working every day. But, well, I mean, it was just a combination of a lot of things, you know, great basketball. You know, a lot of schools have recruited me. And at that time, I was what they say McDonald All-American, so you could have pretty much gone where you wanted to go. And it was just a combination of the social life, the academics, and the basketball. It wasn't just one aspect of it.
My question is, brother, how you feeling? You took that red eye.
Feel good. I mean, it's good to be back in ACC country. You know, now that I do games on CBS, so I do the NCAA tournament.
Right.
So I'm always paying attention to. I always paid attention to the NCAA, but I've more paid attention to the Atlantic Coast Conference because of the history and the heritage that's going on here.
Playing at Carolina, what were some of your favorite memories of Dean?
Wow, Coach Smith. It's funny, if you walked into our practice and you closed your eyes and you just listened to Coach Smith, you couldn't tell who were the better players by what he said. And that was really a testament of how I told him, you know, my mother and father don't treat my sisters and brothers the same. How do you treat every player the same? You know, that was probably the biggest testament of him. Well, maybe with Michael, you hear him say, don't jump over your teammates. but you know, he treated everybody the same.
Speaking of Michael and the pros, and I think everybody in this room watches you with the man, Barkley.
I mean, it's better being up here with you two guys.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Charles never gives you time to talk.
Yeah,
Man,
but
listen,
we want to know, how do you keep Charles Barkley in line?
You do
man?
not. I think the one thing about what's strange now, we've been together 12 years, and now I know what he's going to say. And I said, either I'm getting crazy or he's getting sane. So I'm hoping that he's getting sane now.
When Shaq came in, though, Chuck kind of backed off a little bit for a little while.
No, for a day. I mean, the one thing about Charles and working actually on our show, it just feels like we're on a couch, you know, and sometimes we forget the camera's on. And I was, did I say that on television? Like, wow, I forget. But that's the fun thing about it. And but like I said, just being here in ACC country is just been great.
Do you have any memories of an ACC tournament that stand out or a game?
For me, you know, I've been blessed. You know, played on 2 NBA championship teams with the Houston Rockets. And everyone said, what's your favorite memory about basketball? And my favorite memory is my freshman year in North Carolina when I led the team out for the first time in Greensboro Coliseum as a freshman because I was a point guard. So the band is playing, and you had 19,000 people in sky blue. They come up, and the band start playing. The cheerleaders are flipping, and you walk out, and you go, man, I really made it. Like, this is what it is. So that was the most that's my favorite memory as a basketball player, playing against great, college players and great schools like, Georgia Tech, and playing against, that school in Durham. That was a lot of fun.
Well, Kenny, it's
We
great
don't
to
say
have
their
you.
name. You didn't know that, did you?
Yeah.
15501,
Oh, wait,
baby.
and last thing, I just want to say shout out to Woody Durham, who called all of the games when I was there at Carolina and is the voice of North Carolina basketball forever.
It is great to have Woody here. You're right. It's another
Kenny,
legend.
congratulations. You're a legend, buddy.
Kenny Smith.
Thanks, Kenny.
Let's meet another one of our legends.
A low-post presence for the NC State teams of Coach Les Robinson, who led the ACC in scoring as a senior, averaging 20.9 points a game in 1996, is our next honoree. He also finished 4th in the ACC in rebounding in 1995 and 5th in 1996. A 6'11" center, he earned all ACC honors 3 times, including first-team accolades as a senior in 1996. Also an excellent student, he graduated summa cum laude with a Bachelor of Science degree from NC State in 1996 in applied mathematics. Named to the All-ACC academic team in each of his 4 seasons, he was a 2-time first-team academic All-America in 1995 and 1996. He declined to accept the prestigious Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford University in order to play professional basketball. The 11th overall pick in the first round of the 1996 draft by the Golden State Warriors, he went on to play 5 seasons in the NBA with Golden State, Utah, Charlotte, and Miami. He also played 6 seasons internationally. He sponsors an annual mathematics competition for area high school students in Raleigh, North Carolina through NC State. In 2007, the Wolfpack honored him by hanging his jersey, number 52, from the roof of the RBC Center. He resides in his hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina. Please welcome NC State's Todd Fuller.
Come on over,
Come
Todd.
on down, Todd.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Todd. Here you go.
You know, as you probably heard in that video, Todd is the epitome of the student athlete. Anybody that can major in applied mathematics, summa cum laude, chance at the Rhodes Scholar, incredible. And then you had that great basketball career. So I want to start out with telling us what you're doing right now.
Well, first of all, I'd just like to say thank you to the Atlantic Coast Conference for having me here. The honor is just an amazing thing. And thank you to North Carolina State University for selecting me this year. I know Bobby Purcell with the Wolfpack Club is here and several NC State fans. But to answer your question, for me, just the opportunity to go to NC State, I knew that math was my thing. You know, I didn't like writing papers and English and that sort of thing. I'm the kind of guy who would rather fiddle with his calculator than pick up a pencil. And so for me, just to go to NC State, I actually started in computer science. And I remember I'd be up until 2 in the morning doing programs. And I'm like, man, this doesn't go well when you have practice the next morning. Yeah. I switched to mathematics in my sophomore year, and now that's led me into my second career. That's being a high school math teacher, and that's what I currently do right now.
Awesome.
Now, in high school math, what are you teaching? Geometry, trigonometry?
I think that's correct.
A little bit of everything?
A little bit of everything. You have to be a jack of all trades when you teach. I met one teacher out here. I think Commissioner Swafford's one of his family members, Zach, right there. I've met him before the event. He's a high school math teacher. He'll tell you to be a high school math teacher, you have to be a jack of all trades. You have to kind of know a little bit of everything, algebra, algebra 2. This year, I remember a week before class started, our school called me and said, hey, one of our teachers left. Can you help us out here? And I said, well, what do you mean? And they said, well, she left. She went to another school. Can you help us teach the course that she was teaching? And I said, well, what was she teaching? And they said, calculus. I was like, maybe I'll look for a new job too. No, you have to learn just to adapt, and just like in basketball, anything else in life, is learning to adapt to teaching new classes and being with new students.
Todd, I want to know what it was like playing for Les and some of your memories at NC State.
Playing for Coach Robinson and his staff was one of the main reasons that I chose NC State. Coach Robinson had a way of motivating me as a player, but also was down to earth as a person. And through the highs and lows, the ups and downs of the game of basketball, he displayed to me what it was like to maintain your integrity, work hard, keep a strong work ethic, and do all those things at the same time, regardless of how well you might have done that night on the basketball floor.
Todd, great to have you here as an ACC legend. Todd Fuller of NC State.
Thank you so much.
Way to go, Todd. Thank you.
Let's meet our next legend.
A talented scorer, defender, ball handler, and rebounder who helped lead Virginia to two of its most successful seasons is our next ACC legend. As a junior in 1980, he helped lead UVA to a 24-10 record and the championship of the National Invitation Tournament. As a senior, with teammates Jeff Lamp and All-America Ralph Sampson, he helped the Cavaliers to a 29-4 record, including a 13-1 mark and first place in the ACC. That year, Virginia advanced all the way to the NCAA Final Four, capturing third-place honors. At one point, he was part of a postseason winning streak of 8 games, still a school record. In his 4 collegiate seasons, he helped the Cavaliers to a record of 92 wins and only 32 losses, averaging in double-figure scoring in each year, earning second-team All-ACC honors in 1979. He completed his career with 1,423 points. An excellent student, he was twice named to the All-ACC academic team and in 1981 was named a first-team academic All-America. A native of Louisville, Kentucky, he is now the head of investor relations with Camber Capital Management, LLC, and lives in the greater Boston, Massachusetts area. Please welcome Virginia's Lee Raker.
Congratulations, Lee.
Congratulations, Lee.
Thank you.
Have a
Really good.
seat. You certainly played on some great teams with great players, and I guess one question is,
look good.
yeah, what was it like playing with Ralph Sampson?
It changes pretty much everything that's out there. You've got one of the most talented players ever, and lets you do a lot of things that you may not have been able to do. Frees up a lot of things on the floor.
Let me take you back before you got to Thomas Jefferson University and ask you about the recruiting, because I remember what Ralph went through. Was that part of your decision when you were watching all that? I mean, how were you? Tell us about your recruitment.
Well, Jeff Lamp and I went to the same high school, so there was a lot of traffic coming through, and we were sort of 1 and 2 in the state for most of our junior and senior year, and so you got a lot of exposure, but it was kind of mostly Jeff, and it was fine. It was not as, I guess, high profile as it is now. They used to let everybody come in the gym for practices and games, so it's a little more controlled now.
Yeah. Any memories of what it's like playing for Terry Holland?
Yeah, I mean, it's Terry Holland and Craig Littlepage, who's here today as well, is, they were sort of the best ambassadors for the school and the game. They knew the game. They knew how to take all the crazy personalities we had, myself included, and get us all going the right direction.
The ACC has changed dramatically since we were all in the ACC and we were playing in the league. Do you like what you see today? See the athletes, the way the league has expanded?
Yeah, I think it's sort of epitomized the Atlantic Coast Conference. I mean, it's taken in a lot of great schools in BC, and they let Tech in, but I guess you had to. But you've got Miami, and it's expanded to make it a better conference.
Yeah, I think even the Hokies appreciate what you did on the basketball court. Congratulations, Lee Raker.
Allegedly. Thank you. Congratulations. Way to go. Let's meet our next legend.
Our next legend was a 6'9" low-post player who combined power moves with a soft shooting touch for the Virginia Tech teams of then-head coach Charlie Moyer in the late 1970s and early 1980s. One of the best basketball players in Hokie history, he led Tech to a 4-year record of 78 wins and 41 losses. That included 2 NCAA tournament appearances and 1 berth in the NIT. He led Tech in scoring in each of his 4 seasons, ending his career with 2,136 points, which still ranks 4th on Virginia Tech's career list. His career field goal percentage of .567 is the 2nd best in Tech history, while his career scoring average of 18.4 points per game is 9th, and his 856 rebounds rank 7th. He was named a first-team All-Metro Conference player in each of his 4 seasons. He was also named both the Metro Conference Tournament MVP and Freshman of the Year in 1979 when he led the Hokies to the Metro Conference Championship. Originally selected in the 3rd round of the 1982 NBA Draft by the Philadelphia 76ers, he played 12 seasons professionally in Italy. He currently resides in his hometown of Annapolis, Maryland. Please welcome Virginia Tech's Dale Solomon.
I like the
All right,
love
Dale.
between the Cavs and the Hokies. That's good.
Come on over here, brother. What is it about the Hokies and the Cavaliers?
Well, playing against the Cavaliers, coming from Blacksburg, of course, they were considered the University of Virginia, and we was trying to get in the same category as them. And it was always a great pleasure playing against them because it was competitive, and they was very respectful of us, just like we was of them.
You know, I think one of the great venues, and there are a lot of them in the ACC, Castle Coliseum, the place can really get loud.
Yes, sir. Castle Coliseum is probably one of your elite facilities in the country now. Of course, since we've been in ACC, and it gets really hot in there, especially on Saturdays.
Yeah, they turn that heat up.
Yeah.
When they joined the ACC, what was your first thought?
Well, when I was at Tech, they was talking about it, but since I left, of course, like you said, they joined the ACC. I think it was a great honor for the school, the community, and the athletic program in general.
Yeah. Any special memory you have about your years in Blacksburg?
Yes, sir. I remember we was playing Williamsburg, and we lost by 1 point. And I was the guy on the free throw line. Of course, I missed it. So we got back in Blacksburg around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Coach said, "Where you guys going?" "We're going back to the dorm." "Oh, no. We're going to run suicide since Mr. Solomon's here, learn how to make his free throws." so we did that for about an hour.
Yeah, nice.
Yes, sir.
Tell everybody what you're doing today.
Well, I work for the Department of Homeland Security. I'm a protective officer there. I also do personal protection and bodyguard.
Yeah, I can see that.
We appreciate what you do,
Thank
and we congratulate you on being a legend.
Thank you. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Way to go, Dale.
Thanks a lot. All right, let's meet our next legend.
Our final ACC legend turned in one of the most spectacular performances in the history of the ACC Tournament. A sharpshooting guard, he led Wake Forest to the 1995 ACC title for Coach Dave Odom by averaging 35.7 points and 7 assists per game. In the title game, he scored 37 points and passed out 7 assists, hitting the game-winning shot with 4 seconds remaining in overtime of an 82-80 win over North Carolina. For his efforts, he was named the winner of the Everett Case Award as the tournament MVP. Later that year, he was named the winner of the ACC's McKevlin Award as its Male Athlete of the Year. A second-team All-America selection in 1995, he was also a 3-time All-ACC honoree, earning first-team All-ACC honors in 1994 and 95. A member of the ACC's 50th anniversary basketball team, he led the Demon Deacons to a 4-year record of 85 wins and 39 losses that included 4 straight NCAA tournament appearances and 2 trips to the NCAA Sweet 16. The 19th overall selection in the first round of the 1995 NBA Draft. He played 2 seasons in the NBA with Detroit and Portland. He then played professionally for 14 seasons internationally. A native of Washington, D.C., he returned to Winston-Salem this year to serve as an assistant to Wake Forest Director of Athletics, Ron Wellman. Please welcome Wake Forest's Randolph Childress.
over, Randolph. Good to see you.
Congratulations, Randolph.
Folks, I got to tell you, I've seen a lot of ACC tournaments, but I don't know if I've ever seen a better individual performance over the course of a tournament than 1995. Tell us about that tournament and what was inside of you for that?
Well, we hadn't had much success, to be honest with you, in the tournament, and I was a senior, and Coach Odom had rated me pretty, he had been on me quite a bit about not fulfilling a promise I made to him when I got there. I told him we'd win the ACC tournament. So by the time I was a senior, it's like, look, this is it. And, you get into a moment like that, and I know most of the fans here who watched that, we were down by, I want to say, 20 at the first TV timeout. And after that point, I just felt like, if we're going to lose, then I'm shooting the ball every time down the floor.
Now, when you were down 20 to 2, Coach Odom said he had some very choice words to say to the team.
Well, he had to get in line for that one. To be honest, that school in Durham, as Kenny referred to, when we got to the time, I was pretty ticked off about it. And
you had already beaten them twice that year.
Yeah, and there was no excuse to be down by 20 to those guys. We were, Duke is a great program, and that school in Durham is a great program, and but we were the better team that year, and they came out and they jumped on us pretty early, and we just were able to respond, and I had a few choice words to say to the guys.
Mike is absolutely correct. I don't think I've ever seen an individual performance like that all the way through the tournament, and it came down to that last shot against Carolina. I was calling the game, and everybody in the place knew you were going to get the ball, and you still buried it. What's that like?
I can honestly say that's one of those things. I remember we missing one of those shots early in the year, and Coach Odom, I went to him and I kind of questioned whether I shouldn't take those shots, and he just told me, hey, I'm going to put the ball in your hands to take those shots, and don't worry about it. If we win or lose, you're okay with it, and I'm okay with it. So I've always had tremendous amount of confidence in those moments, and I was just glad I was able to come through at that time.
Coach Odom is here today, and I know it was very special for you. You guys have a special relationship even today.
We do.
And what was it like playing for him?
Well, I think that's an unfair question because I don't know if any of the other guys have their coaches here. So when we came down in the elevator, you said be candid, and I don't know if I can because he's here. Yeah, I can't tell you. I got to keep it, it's just, I'll give you a PG version, I guess. No. Coach Odom has been a tremendous person in my life. He knows I wouldn't have gone on and accomplished any of those things. Everyone, like all these guys, we all say the same thing. When they all have special relationships with their coaches. And if you get in the business of coaching and anything like that, it's about the kids and you provide whatever they need. And no one was ever better at it than, that I've been around than he was, and definitely not in Wake Forest history.
How did you decide to go to Wake Forest?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Wanted to go to small school. I went to public schools, and Johnny knows this. We grew up in D.C. There weren't a lot of good schools there. And I ended up transferring into a private school, a prep school, my junior and senior year. And I went from a barely making the 2.0 C student to an honor roll student. And I just felt like a small Division I school would be a good fit for me. When Coach Odom came up and I met him, there was just something about him that made me decide that I wanted to play for him.
Wow. Special man and a special tournament that will go down in ACC history. Randolph Childress, our Wake Forest legend.
Randolph, congratulations. Way to go.
Thank you. Great job.
Let's have a big round of applause for all the legends.
Absolutely.